All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic Friday after what has been a strange week, right? I had no idea what to do with myself there yesterday. That Thursday midday break is about as weird as it gets, but hopefully it was a productive and restful day for you all. And yeah, looking forward to seeing how basically price action wants to shape up here today. And hopefully, right, we can take advantage of whatever momentum is available to us here today. A few things for us to talk about here before the session starts. So, economic calendar wise, right, we had unemployment come out. We've got consumer sentiment, and we got some Fed speak here today. So we do have a little bit of a busier economic calendar, and we'll see if that creates really any element of tradable price action for us. It's been a nice green week here so far, so I don't need to do anything, right, super crazy and be super aggressive and think, hey, today's the day where I got to, overtrade, or I got to make back all my money, or I need to feel as if I need to press and be aggressive and gamble with my winnings. I don't want to fall for any of those traps here today, right? I want to focus on continually controlling the variables I can control. So for me, it's very important, right, that I focus on really rewarding the habits that have made me successful here this week, right? Made me successful there last month. And sort of the habits that I believe are fundamental towards being a profitable trader. And for me, right, that is losing small for when I'm wrong, right? Adding to winning positions when I'm correct, and closing my trades as my P&L is increasing. When I close losers before they become max losers, I don't associate or attach as much mental capital to those losing trades. When I close my trades as my P&L is increasing, instead of after seeing it pull back from, say, being up $1,000 to being up $200, I then don't feel like I'm owed a win or owed $800 or something along those lines. And when I add to my winning positions and focus on all three of those elements in conjunction, then I really juice the odds in my favor, and I make it easy for my winning trades to overcome the sort of drawdown, right, from any losing plays. And so it is the consistent emphasis, right, on those three techniques, on those three elements, that then make essentially my strategy a little bit irrelevant, right? Not to say that isn't the case. I mean, obviously, the way I trade, my strategy is important, but my risk management, my position management, right, my closing my wins, my managing my losses, my position sizing, right, are the things that give me margin for error, that allow me to survive that variance and put me in situations where it's easy to be green. When I ignore those things and pretend, hey, I need to be 100% correct here today, or I need to do this, or I need to do that, then all I'm doing is setting myself up to inevitably be disappointed when I'm unable to be perfect. And so really that is where my emphasis lies, right? I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm trying to create as much margin of error as I possibly can on a day-to-day basis. And that then makes this game a lot easier. And it makes it easier because I not only maintain more of my mental capital, but I also mathematically just set myself up, right, to have more upside, to have more opportunities to be green. And that allows the variance to play out more smoothly intraday for me here. So 8 minutes in, let's start mapping things out here. Let's figure out what we want to do here this morning. And let's finish off the week with a bang here and keep kind of compounding away on what should hopefully be an incredible trading year. So first things first here, what's the count on ES? Obviously, we're not going to be looking at yesterday's volume, right? Friday's volume, or Thursday's volume, sorry. It's irrelevant. So we're still looking, right, at Wednesday's price actions. We're not looking at yesterday's as yesterday was a non-trading day. So we're looking at Wednesday's bit of PA. So that gives us a 2 out of 3 to the upside. With volume, right? And we're looking for either a bounce off of that green box where we've seen price action find support here a lot recently, or we're looking for a breakout here over the pre-market highs. So we're looking for an ORB fake out off of the green box. Then a breakout towards, what was that, 59.60. With 2 out of 3 to the upside with volume, does that give us a bearish scenario here today? Or are we bull case or bust? And that's just based on the current information we have. So we might be able to introduce some flexibility. Any thoughts? Yeah, Nathan, spot on. So for now, a little bit more of a bullish bias only, right? As we're looking for a continuation there of Wednesday's price action. We've got an area where we've seen price action bounce significantly here in the past. So let's see if we can get a good continuation narrative here this morning and then go from there. So we'll go NA for now on the bear case. And yeah, we'll see if we can maybe add some flexibility depending on how the leading names are behaving this morning. All right, and Q. What's the count? So we're looking at Wednesday's candle again here, right? Not Thursday's. So what is that? Red candle, right? Decreasing volume and then gap down. So this is going to give us more flexibility in both directions. We're going to call this a weak 2 out of 3 here to the downside without volume. So we can look for an ORB fake out off of the green box, right? Then a breakout, and that's targeting 21.4. And then above. And then to the downside here, right, a breakdown towards under 21,000 certainly would be interesting. And we'll say like ORB fake out around 21.3. Then breakdown towards pre-market lows of 21.1, 21,000. And then we can map it out maybe down towards like 28. Make sense? So if we're looking at two-way tape here today, right, and we're seeing price action that's a little bit in both directions, what ticker or what will be the easier trade for us here today? Two-way tape, you think it's going to be ES? Why? If we have two-way tape, right, I think the bias will be easier for us to trade NQ because we have a better indication, right, of having flexibility to trade in both directions. On ES, we'd be looking for a bullish bias. But ES, if it's like a ripping higher trend day, that might be the easier trade. All right. CL. What's the count? Again, we're going to look at, yesterday a little bit more reasonable trading day. CBOE wasn't closed. but not a tremendous amount of volume. I'm still going to call this a 2 out of 3 to the upside without volume. How do we feel about the size of today's pre-market? Yeah, quite a big move, right? So that sets up like a textbook Bollinger Band reversal type setup. Right, so overextended price action. You're expecting basically bears to step in or bulls to take some profit here and maybe pull back towards like 75 or so. To the upside, we've got maybe a little bit of space up towards like 78.50. But I would not want to be very aggressive here to the upside as price action is already relatively extended. If we're just looking at the candle size, right, relative to say the last 3 or 4 months, this would be one of the single largest bull days, right, we had seen inside that period. So it's definitely outlier type conditions. Doesn't mean you can't continue going. Markets can remain irrational longer than we can stay solvent. But just would be cautious, right? Need to see a very aggressive bearish failure before I'm confident, right, that bulls are back in business. Okay. Apple. So again, we're looking at Wednesday's price action. Green candle, decreasing volume, gap down. All right, so 1 out of 3 here. And we're looking for a breakout over 243. Or a breakdown here under 240. Okay, Tesla, Doji, decreasing volume, gap down. So again, 1 out of 3. And so again, we're looking for a breakout over 404 or a breakdown here under yesterday's low or Wednesday's low of 387. Okay, Microsoft inside bar. So we're looking for a breakout then over 430, fine, or a breakdown here under Tuesday's low of 420. Nice. Okay, Amazon, red candle, decreasing volume, gap down. Not a great candle shape, so we'll call this a weak 2 out of 3 here to the downside without volume. So we're looking for a breakdown here under 220. Or, right, a breakout above that trend line of like 224. Otherwise, right, if we can't really get a separation away from that trend line, then we're kind of being told it's consolidation versus trending price action. And we don't need to overextend ourselves in price action that might just be a little bit sticky. Okay, AMD, red candle, increasing volume, gap down. So 3 for 3 here to the downside. NA, right, for a bull case, this is a bear case or bust. And we're looking for a gap fill and go, so like a 120 retest. Or a breakdown under 118. Okay, NVIDIA, red candle, decreasing volume, pretty big gap down. Are we surprised that it's decreasing volume compared to Tuesdays? Or is NVIDIA's volume there yesterday or on Wednesday kind of like expected? Thoughts, anyone? So I would say it's relatively expected that we were going to get decreasing volume relative to Tuesday's session, right? Pretty big volume. When we get those big spikes, pretty often that the next day is a move lower. Now, it doesn't mean we couldn't get continuation or that explosion move here now. But again, we're going to be a little bit cautious, right, waiting for that. As NVIDIA goes, tends to be how the market goes. So again, we'll keep an eye on this. But I'd say our semiconductor names, right, are giving us probably a bit more of a downside bias. And if they're going to continue to sell off, then maybe that NQ bear case, it ends up being a little bit more tradable for us here today. All right, Meta, red candle, decreasing volume, gap down. So again, 2 out of 3 here to the downside. Without volume, it's a weak 2 out of 3. I don't think that really changes. We're going to be looking for a 617 breakout, right? And then a breakdown here under 603. Right, so we're just looking for a breakout over yesterday's high, right? Or under yesterday's low. Okay, Netflix, inside bar day, we nailed that. So we're still looking for that 888 or call it 868 breakdown here now. Okay, Google, green candle, decreasing volume, gap down. So we'll call this a weak 1 out of 3 here to the upside. We'd be looking for a breakout over, I think, 200 probably at this point. And then to the downside here, we're looking for a breakdown under 192. Make sense? And then VIX 18.84. So relatively elevated. Things could certainly give us that big dump and big sell-off here today. So let's see how it goes. Any questions? Make sense to everybody? All right, sweet. So we got about 8 minutes here or so until market open. So I'm just going to go make myself a quick cup of coffee, spend a few minutes here visualizing a successful trading day, and then hopefully set myself up, right, for what should hopefully be a fantastic end to the week. So we'll be back in a few minutes here, team, and we'll break things down then. All right, so quick little rundown here before the session starts, right? Anticipating, a little bit of an interesting session here today, right? We're getting price action in both directions and no real clear indication of any trending PA. So we're going to be waiting, right, to see how price action basically behaves or sets up here this morning and then go from there. I don't need to be aggressive. I don't need to be a lunatic. I don't need to rush into something that isn't absolutely perfect. I'm here to trade my plan, not my P&L. So today, all about really making sure that I'm setting myself up to not ruin my weekend here on a Friday, right? I got a nice steak defrosting. I've got a hike planned here after markets are done. And I'm not going to do anything where I'm sitting there eating my dinner or trudging through the snow with this like miserable look on my face. Today is all about making sure that I remain in control, that I focus on being the best execution trader that I can be, not being the richest, right? If I'm chasing a number, if I'm chasing a P&L figure, if I'm chasing something along those lines, all I'm going to do is feel empty and never feel as if I've gotten enough, right? The unfortunate reality here about trading the market or playing this game for a living is that if you're trading or you're playing for a P&L number, you're always going to chase after it because there's always more to be had. But if you're focusing on improving your technique, getting better at losing, getting better entries, getting better at taking profit, then you have tangible things that you can improve that will make a difference to your P&L. And so if I can focus on those elements, then everything else will kind of fall into place and I'm going to do just fine. If I chase things that aren't there and I focus on elements that are vanity metrics, right, more than reality metrics, then I'm going to struggle. I'm going to get my butt kicked and I'm going to feel as if this game is rigged against me because I keep getting in my own way, right? I'll keep finding ways to self-sabotage myself. I'll keep finding ways to make my life more difficult and more miserable than it needs to be. So the commitment, right, that I need to make to myself is that I'm going to remain in control, that I'm going to be the one who knocks. That's like one of my favorite ways of describing it. And when that is the case, right, that means that I focus on the technical side of my trading, not the P&L side. If I control those technical elements, if I lose well, if I take profit as my P&L is increasing, if I add to my winning positions when it's appropriate to do so, then the P&L will take care of itself and I'm going to make a lot more money than if I'm trying to swing for a number. That's why I don't like daily P&L goals. That's why I think they actually work against you instead of working for you, because instead of then making a decision on how you can optimize for a long-term result, you're making a decision on how you can optimize for a short-term feeling. And that just sets you up, right, to not be successful here long term. So today, that's the commitment I want everyone to focus on making, right? If you can accomplish that, you will do just fine. If you choose to make alternative decisions, then you're going to find each loss to be incredibly personal. You're going to find each, losing trade, right, to feel like the death of hope. And we need to understand, right, that losing money trading, it's not a bad thing, right? That happens. Losing more than you wanted, losing money when you've lost control, losing money when you have basically gone let go, let Powell, right? And then you're going to put yourself in a situation where, yes, that is a bad result. But surviving losses, surviving small bits of drawdown, doing all those things, it's not bad, right? It's not a negative result. If you remained in control and you lost money, that is not a bad thing. That happens. No one is correct on 100% of their decisions. And if you expect yourself to be perfect, all you're doing is setting yourself up to be tremendously disappointed and then to blow up in your face, right, the second you lose enough mental capital where you relinquish that element of control. So talk about this all the time, but it's the best loser that wins. And to build off of that, right, I think it's the best loser that survives. And then it's the best executioner that wins long term. So it's all about focusing on those variables, team. All about obsessing over those details. All about focusing on those techniques and getting better there. Not getting better from a P&L perspective, getting better at following your plan, getting better at trading your technique, getting better at timing your entries, getting better at cutting your losers, getting better at taking profit, getting better at adding to your winners. Those are the elements that, when combined, make you a lot more money. And so put all your energy, all your focus, all your power into following those ideas, and you're going to do a lot better than if you just put all that same energy into trying to maximize your P&L or chasing a number. Chasing, we're just going to get hurt. And yeah, I'm not interested in dealing with that on a day-to-day basis. It's not fun. Make sense? Everyone understand what their objective should be here today? All right, good. So let's have ourselves a great day here. Remember, team, the second we give up that control and we start to trade with that tunnel vision, or we trade with that like out of body experience, or we trade in like that blackout feeling where we know what we're doing is wrong, but we're willing to do it anyway, that's the second you are basically setting yourself up for failure. And so everything that you're doing on a day-to-day basis is to be proactive to avoid that mental state versus thinking that you can do something that's reactive that will help you get out of that position. And so that's why focusing on the technical side of our trading is so important, because if I don't judge myself on my P&L on a daily basis, and I truly believe that, then it's a lot easier for me to avoid that like gut punch feeling when I take a loss. And when I cannot make those intraday results personal, things go a lot better and I can find a lot more success in my long-term decision-making processes. Right? The second we give up control over our accounts, over our decisions, over our ability to trade, the market will relentlessly and ruthlessly take our money. No doubt about it. So far so chill here, right? No reason to be hyper aggressive yet. decent volume to start the day off here to the downside, right? So definitely a little bit more of a bearish bias. $15 seconds to go. Let's see if we can get increasing volume. It'll be close. Okay, not going to happen here. Okay, unlikely to be increasing volume here on the 5 still, so we're going to continue to be relatively cautious and patient. But a little bit of early morning selling, so let's see if it sustains and if we can see volume stepping in and defending this price action. If it can't, then we're starting to set ourselves up for that fake out scenario inside that green box. And we'd like to see it close back up above 21.1 if we're going to be bullish. Again, seems unlikely that we're going to get increasing volume here. I mean, maybe 45 seconds to go. So what we have here, right, is a setup trigger in both directions, and we're looking for confirmation. Confirmation is going to be twofold, right? It's going to be both a volume standard of increasing relative to previous bar, or, right, a hold above on volume, right, through that psych level. So it didn't do that. Now, it's not a perfect candle. Kind of like a little bit of indecision there. So 21.17 would have to be the stop loss for now. The thing that's giving me just a little bit of pause, right, is if this candle was strong, why couldn't we close under 77? All right, why did we pull back, right? Okay, there's a higher high. So far a good decision to have avoided this trade. So now you're looking at a stop 125.25. Starting to get a little bit spicy. Again, still no rush to jump into anything here yet. Maybe do CL here on this BB reversal potentially. $2, probably too far for us to go in one go. But towards maybe that 76 could be interesting. We'd like to see it close under 77. Because until it does that, it's going to be hard to trust. Technically have an increasing volume setup here as well on ES to the upside here. So I'm very interested in this. Stop loss would be 903. Just watching carefully here, right? See where it finds support. As is, I'd be looking at 3 contracts, maybe 2. And again, still no reason to have jumped in here yet. I am being a patient lunatic, right? Okay, and CL breaking down here. So stop loss 77.10. This will also be worth watching. Okay, and Q back in business here, right? Increasing outlier volume. See if it can hold under previous low of day. So it needs to hold under 67. Has a good chance to do so here. And then targeting 948. Okay. So stop loss would be 21.48. And this thing moved fast. Oh, big pullback. Interesting. Still just buying myself a little bit of time here, right? I don't like the size of that bounce from 11 to 25. Like that pretty much happened in one click. So we'd like to see where price action gets stuffed here before being hyper aggressive, right? Haven't really seen it get stuffed. It's almost like it found support off of 20,000. I don't know how to answer that question, J Maya. I'm talking through my thought process on each position. I'm not sure how to be more clear over what I think is currently happening. Okay, so now we're looking at the 5-min. So stop loss would be 2138. Maybe a little bit higher. Let's see where this thing finds support again. Okay, good decision to have avoided CL. Okay, no entry here yet on NQ. Still just waiting here, team, right? Still just waiting. Okay, maybe we could start to look for that pullback scenario. Now, with this, right, we need to get within 25 points of our stop loss to be able to get tradable sizing. Not sure if that's in play here yet. Right, so that would make the entry a retest of like the opening range low. And that seems unlikely to happen here easily. A little inside bar here doesn't kill me. A little breakdown here doesn't kill me either. I could still play something like this maybe. But again, right, the thing that is the most challenging about this setup right now is getting the appropriate position sizing to justify taking on this risk, right? From 24 to now 50, risking 24 points, fine, right? That's fine. But any entry, like, it has to be a decent little pullback here once we get that breakdown. So, got to be a little bit cautious here. Again, right? I don't want to be risking more than 500 bucks on this trade, right? So stop loss for now would be 52 here. And that's too quick of a pullback. Okay, a better reaction. Too big. Take that back. Jumps down, or jumps up, down 5 points, then up 10 points. Right, probably not the reaction you'd want to see from bears here yet. Better. But then it goes, yeah, pretty bouncy. So I'm still being very, very patient here. Like, I would describe this price action here so far as like kind of frothy. You know, definitely looking like a bear flag. The question is, can I get an appropriate amount of risk to justify taking this trade? So far, no. So a little inside bar fake out potentially. 57, call it 58 would have to be the stop. Yeah, I know, Sammy, I know. Well, there's two ways that we can invalidate this confirmation candle, David, right? We can either make a higher high above it, or we can invalidate it from a volume perspective. So neither of those things here have happened yet. So it is possibly still setting up as that bear flag idea, right? Be something like that. Okay, so 5 seconds here. Pretty big breakdown. So now we can see a pullback right into like 34-ish. Seems challenging to get. Now break down under 21,000. We can start to push down towards like 900, which might give this a little bit of an easier scenario. Yeah, correct, Norm. So we're already in an increasing volume, right? So maybe we could target 900, but we need to see this candle close. Give us that confirmation of that bear flag breakdown, right? So we've had the right thesis, right, so far today, but just no easy or obvious entries. So that's fine, right? Price action can move without giving me an entry, and I can't make it feel personal. Because I promise you it's not. Market makers don't give a shit. They're not looking at your entry prices. They're not looking at your order window. They do not care. So again, right, we're still going to see if we can get a good opportunity here. It's going to be second largest volume of the day. 30 seconds. Okay, so stop loss 956 for now. And we're looking for a pullback into 43 gently. Hasn't been gentle here, right? Has not been gentle, so just wait. Now stop needs to be 60. 61.50. Okay, good rejection, but then absorbs pretty well. Okay, so now it has to be 64. And you need to see a pullback into 48 or above. Oh, didn't get a fill there. Tried to get at 49.75. Did not fill. So canceled that order. Going to retry, right, if it pulls back again. I'm not going to let that order hang. So reset. Okay, so a little lower low, lower high. So idea's not over here yet. Again, gentle pullbacks. The name of the game here has not been a gentle pullback, right? It's been a spit in your face pullback. Okay, now we can maybe do something like this, right? So stop loss 951. Call it 952. And we're going to miss it here again. Okay, maybe CL's back in business. 7704 would have to be the stop for now. We'll keep an eye on this. And it's still watching, right, this NQ. Again, even if I got that original entry at 949.75, I'm pretty confident I would have been stopped out before it then also broke down. So this idea that I would have made money on this position here so far is a lie that I would tell myself to make me feel like I need to chase, right? So I'm not going to fall for my own bullshit here today. I'm going to try to continue to be objective over what would have happened with price action instead of thinking, hey, this would have been an exception, right? You cannot hold it against yourself when price action moves in your direction that you wanted without it following all of your rules. Because your rules are there for a reason, right? They're designed to protect you from the worst versions of yourself. If you're going to hold it against yourself that you didn't gamble, you're setting yourself up to basically be in a no-win situation, right? And is that worth it? I would say no. Because then you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And you just, like, turn your mind into a pretzel. So now, right, if we can get a hold under here, under 9, maybe on this 10-minute time frame, we could target 800, right? Or we could look to reset here on the 3-minute time frame, targeting 800 if we get increasing volume. Not increasing. So now we're going to wait for this on the 10-minute time frame here. Excuse me. Again, the fact that it has moved in what I thought was my bias's direction is not a bad thing, right? Doesn't mean I need to chase, doesn't mean I need to rush that decision, doesn't mean I am owed any money from flipping a coin and getting the direction right on the day. Honestly means nothing, right? So getting the daily bias correct is like 1/10 of the equation and thinking that's all I need to be profitable long term is a fool's game. So I might be able to sell off and break down here all day long. And if I don't get a trade, that's not a big deal. It doesn't matter. The market doesn't owe me that. So we can't trick ourselves into thinking that, hey, breaking my rules is actually going to be profitable for me, right? I can't trick myself into that bullshit. It's not worth it, team. It really isn't. So now we're looking at a stop loss 920, right? And we need to see a pullback into about 900. Hey, Jenny, hope you're doing well. Yeah, Happy New Year to you as well. J Maya, you can see all this information here on my chart, right? That says right there, NASDAQ 100 E-mini 10-min time frame. I can't be answering these questions as I'm looking for entries, man. You're going to cost me money. All the information you need is available visually to you. Please control the variables you can control. I've also said I'm looking at the 10-min time frame, right? So we gotta be more detailed than this because I will just start ignoring your questions. So still looking for an entry here, team. It's pulling back just a little bit too fast. I mean, Eric, when I draw out these lines, right, I'm just drawing them quickly. I'm not trying to be super precise here, right? I'm just drawing it a little bit above the high, a little bit above the low. Just giving myself a point of reference. All right, guys, so that was my entry. I am in at 909. One contract here. Stop is at 920. Come on. So far, so good here. So far, so good. I don't now like that little fake out. The fact that it went to 80 and then's now back up doesn't feel great. Okay, guys, I am out of this trade. Not behaving the way I want. $284. $284 on that. Down. Again, maybe should have protected this a little bit better once it was nicely green. But it wasn't behaving the way that I wanted, so I'm not going to get emotionally attached to it. That's fine. Now we have a possible mean reversion type setup here. Bounce off of 900. Like a little red to green type move. 1016. VIX 20 spot 24. So very volatile session here. So again, right, when I'm drawing out my stop loss, guys, I'm just drawing it like under my confirmation candle, right? Sometimes it's going to be a point. Sometimes it's going to be whatever. I'm not like got a surgeon's precision on that, right? I just draw it to where I draw it, and then that's my stop loss. So again, don't overthink these things. The point is I just want to work backwards so I have a price that I can go to, right? Okay, so still watching here. NQ for a little reversal idea. And we're using this candle's high, so like that 917.50 as our reference point. We don't really want it seeing pulling back further than that. You could also play this potentially here on the 3-min time frame. Now with that 917 here as our stop loss. So I'm going to set that up here now. Pretty good move higher. Now we want to see a gentle pull back here. It's not happening yet. ES, increasing but not outlier, so that's why I'm focusing on NQ. Okay, watching closely here. And stop would be 917. So I am in average price 940.25. Just one contract. It's got to hold 50 here. Come on, keep going. Okay, guys, I've closed at 64. Closed at 64. We're going to try this again here, potentially. But that's a nice little win. So now, nicely green here on the day, right? That's all it took. And we will try this again. Again, the fact that it just couldn't hold 50 on decreasing volume, that's my reason to get out and reset and get impartial. If I'm trying to define what strong price action looks like, it's holding psychological levels, right? And it's holding those levels on volume. If it can't do both, then I need to get out. So I got a little bit of a good price, right, on being able to sell it on basically like a little rip higher. But that is more luck than skill, right? So I just got out, took it as my P&L was increasing, and gave myself a chance to reset here. Maybe we get that look on ES, not a strong enough candle. And okay, nice little day here so far. Everyone understand how I behaved there? Why I behaved the way I did? So again, if this thing goes increasing volume on like the 5 min, the 10 min, right, whatever other time frame, I can look to re-jump in. The fact that it's moved 15 points without it giving me that strong reaction doesn't mean bupkis, right? It really means nothing. Still decreasing volume, right? Not a good indication there of relative momentum. Okay, we're back to looking at CL here. So not a monster day here by any means yet. Up about 270 bucks here on the session. Okay, so what's the potential problem with the CL trade? Who's got an idea? Nice work, Mike. Three min, maybe looking like a reversal. She definitely does. But main issue, right, with this 5 min is just the sizing that one would require for that risk, right? So the risk required to take on that trade is a little bit too significant. Okay, CL, maybe a 3 min reversal here. Good volume. Oops. So again, we'd be targeting probably the low of the opening range here. So stop loss 76.73. Now, as is, right, 16 cents of risk. Very hard, 17 cents of risk. Very hard for me to get the sizing that I want on this position. So I'm not really in a rush to do anything here, because I can't really justify the risk, right, with the sizing that I would need. Like, I'd be buying 3 contracts. And it's not really my language. Now, a high volume rejection here around 21,000, or a high vol breakout above 21,000 sets us back up, right, for a continuation narrative here to the upside, or, right, for a breakdown back down towards previous low of day. Again, there is no bitterness that I closed this trade 80 points ago or 60 points ago, right? I closed it because it didn't give me that increasing volume or hold the psychological level. The reaction that then happens after that, it's not matching or following the rules of my system. So, although this would have paid me out and I could have tricked myself into thinking, hey, this is behaving the way that I want from a P&L perspective, from a process-based perspective, this then bit of price action is more random than repeatable. Now, dealing with random that goes in your thesis's direction, that's the most annoying, right, or the most frustrating, because it makes you want to break your rules, right, or do something different. But we don't need to do that. Now we've got increasing volume here, right, on a breakout above 21,000. So let's see if this thing can give us a look. We'd have a stop loss 21.17 for now. Okay, hasn't made a higher high yet, so we could do this as well, right? A 79 stop loss. Now the 79 stop loss, far less appealing, because it, again, right, the sizing that we would need to get to justify that trade, we would need to be buying right off of like 21,000 or below. So maybe like a little overzealous move under 21,000 would be interesting. So stop loss for now, 79. And you're basically just looking for like an overreaction move under, or if we do get that breakout above, then we can go an 05 stop loss, right? Okay, so watching here for that like overreaction move towards 21,000. Okay, now we're looking to the upside with the stop loss at 04. Just be patient here still, right? Just be patient here still. There's a little part of me that feels like that 21,000 is still going to act like a magnet here. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Again, now looking for a gentle pullback into the 30 range. If it doesn't give it to me, no worries. Okay, so still watching here. You have one contract play, right? One contract. So 30, right, to 24 is 26 points, right? That's still too much. So I need to see it in like the high 20s. So it might happen here on this candle close. Just watch it like a hawk here. 5 seconds. Hey guys, I'm in at 24, with one contract. Okay, gonna write this out now. Sorry, I just wanted to double check, make sure I didn't have to close that early. Let's see if it's got the legs here. I didn't like that. Got stuffed like 5 points. Okay, I'm out here, guys. I am out. Close my position there. We'll try this again, right? If it breaks out now above the high, we'll push our stop loss to be 21.19. I did not like how that's been reacting, right? Every time it makes a higher high, it's pulling back faster than it was going. Okay, now, obviously it doesn't. Fuck me. Okay, so we need a 42 here, right, or below. just my luck here today. Yeah, it's been the theme a little bit here this week for sure. Well, let's see. We still have another opportunity. Taking like small bites of the apple and then throwing it away. It's a little bit wasteful. Okay, so we're still looking at this potential 42 here. Stop at 19. Okay, maybe not. So now we could possibly look at this. It's technically increasing on the 3. Maybe I could do this. 52 stop. Round that down. 51 stop. Again, maybe moving just a little bit too fast. We need to get into 67. Let's watch here. It's close. Ugh. Still no, still no. Oh, just hit myself with my pen cap. Okay, guys, I am in now at 62, 2 contracts. Stop at 51. And so far, so good here. So far, so good. Come on. Let's see if it can fly here. Come on, hold 80. Hold 80. You ain't a lady if you don't hold 80. Come on. By the skin of its teeth on decreasing volume. Come on. All right, guys, I'm out at 68. Out at 68. So I'm just taking little pot shots here. Little pot shots. Jeez. I'm taking the long way around to make some money here today. Holy smokes. Oh. Well, you didn't miss much here, Steven. I'll tell you that much. You didn't miss much. I can't help but laugh at today's price action. Kind of like one of those days where I'm, I don't know what the right way of calling it, but it's like, price action's got like the coffee jitters. It's shaking, but giving you the runs. Nice work. Let's go, Alfred. Fuck me. Sorry, Jenny. Sorry. I can't help but nice work. So minus 220 plus 490 plus 145 plus 240. Pretty good day here. Pretty annoying day. Nice work, team. Nice work. Can I possibly do this? Low vol fake out. It's kind of like a bull flag scenario. Probably be targeting high of day here now. Stop loss at 30. Call it 40. Too late now. Man, I keep... I think to a certain extent I've made the right call on 3 out of 4 of the trades that I've missed. Or on the ones I've taken, sorry, where I've missed out on P&L. Like here I would have gotten stopped out before this thing ran. So no like tremendous amount of bitterness, just like a little bit of bitterness. Markets be damned kind of thing. But I mean, look, 3 for 4 in the day. I will not complain. That's a great day. Now we're looking stop loss 21-1. So let's see. We can find support. Gosh, man, setting up 3 order windows is such a pain in the butt. Okay, come on, breakout, breakout. Okay, so now we're looking for a pullback here, right? Just a gentle pullback, 1 contract. That's not gentle. That's not gentle. Again, not gentle, right? That's not gentle. This feels like it's going to want to break down here under 100. I mean, I said that before and got bit in the butt. So, let's see. Okay, there's that little 100 test. Let's see if it finds support. Nope. Okay, better. So now we're looking stop loss of 92. And nope, 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 nope. It's funny how zooming in sometimes on these candles makes each move look so much more significant than it really is. All right, so now we're looking at the pullback technique here. Stop loss would be 40, just the low of this approximate range. So very similar to that initial setup we just had. Again, this is moving down very quickly, so I'm not in a rush to do this. But this could definitely start to qualify as like a little bit of an overreaction flush. And potentially, right, we could be back in business for a possible rejection scenario. No, not enough volume there on the 3. Okay, good little bounce there. Okay, little fake out. I'm going to have to avoid this. Right, pretty clear bullish failure. So close to the right volume on the 3 min. So close. Oof. I can't help but laugh at today's trading session. So it's 10:54. I will say, at least on days where it's busy like this, it goes by fast. Nice work, Jenny. Congratulations. Hey, 900 bucks keeps the day job away. I'll tell you that much. Excuse me. Sounds good, Jenny. Enjoy the rest of your day. So I'm watching this on the 15-minute time frame here. That for me would be the next most appropriate setup. If I don't get one here, I might just call it. No complaints, right? Nicely green here on the day. I would have been wished to be up a little bit more. Probably should have been up a bit more. And I would say on the trade I lost money on, I don't think I should have lost money on it. Yeah, it's been dumping all day here, Sammy, I know. Come on. Main reason, right, why CL's not super interesting here today, Sammy, is I just cannot get the position sizing on like any of the trades I want here. So everything's giving me 20 points of or 20 cents of risk. I just cannot get sizing on that I find appealing. Whereas I'm happy to play 1 contract rips, 2 contract rips on NQ. That feels a little bit better for me. Okay, so we're watching here. Stop loss would have to be 04. Might just break down without me here. Sheesh. Motherfucker. It's got to pull back into the 80 region. Okay, it's me close. Oh, 76. See there, right? On CL, right? I'd have to be risking from 78 to 92. That's too much for me. Okay, still watching. And guys, that 80, right? That 90-80 is my entry target because at 90-80, I'm risking approximately 500 bucks, right? So in theory, I could take an entry at 958.50 and it's an appropriate risk reward ratio to justify taking on that trade, but it doesn't meet my risk management criteria. And so if I lose, I'm going to take a loss that's twice as big as I want, right? So I've got two rules. It's got to meet the appropriate risk reward ratio and it has to be less than $500 worth of risk. So the point where I'm looking to click submit is at that point where I've got that $500 worth of risk inside this green line to red line. If I can't get that, no worries. I will reset and try a different time frame or a different setup, whatever it might be. And I'm unwilling to compromise on that trade, right? So I'm not willing to take $520 worth of risk. I'm not willing to take, $560, $540. I'm willing to take 500 or less. That 500 is a hard and firm restriction. So it's not about 500, right? It's 500 or less. And there we go, right? Got my 80 price. So now I am in 29.80. So you just wait and it comes. All right, so let's see if this thing can keep breaking down here. So far, so good, though. So far, so good. Best win of the day, right? Best win of the day on this. So now let's see if we can get this thing to flush through 950. Come on, come on. Right, so everyone understands how I had that 980 as my entry target. Everyone get that? Why that was the point? Don't like that. And just so far, just stacking up base hits here, right, today. Just stacking up base hits. Yeah, fair enough. David, what was your entry? Again, moving just a little bit faster than I want on that pullback. And what I'm trying to remain here is in that like Zen state, right? Where I'm not thinking about the previous trades that faked me out. I'm not thinking about the money that I have left on the table. All I'm looking at, or all I'm trying to think about here, is how wonderful my dog is and how this price action is moving. Like it's that Happy Gilmore happy place type thing, right? What was your stop loss, David? So I'm not holding on to the baggage, right, from earlier in the trade. Or earlier in the day. I'm trying to look at this as objectively. So, David, your risk on that trade is absolutely unacceptable. Way too high, right? You're risking $800 a contract, risking approximately $1,600 there, which is 3 times more the acceptable amount of risk you want to take per trade. So I really dislike that, even though it's a good win. Risking $600 or $1,600 to make $590, 100% unacceptable. You want your max daily loss to be $1,500, right? So worst case scenario, you take 15 trades in a day, you lose $1,500. On one single trade, that is far too much exposure, and I really dislike that trade. That is not respecting risk. For sure, David, right? You're working on it. But working on it doesn't mean you go for more aggressive entries with bigger sizing when I'm telling you what my position is and what my entry target is, right? We shouldn't be doing that. And if you don't know, ask. Those are the types of questions to ask before you enter a trade. Because I'm not interested, right, in having to talk you off the ledge when now price action is moving against you and it's costing you more money than you want. Right? So we got to be proactive, not reactive here. And you know what the requirements are, right? The requirements are $500 of risk per less per trade. And if you don't know how much you're risking before you place that trade, don't place that trade. Cannot stress that enough. But that amount of risk is completely unacceptable. And there is a zero tolerance policy for that, right? Because we have taken 5 trades here today now, or 4 trades here today now. So if you're risking $1,500 on every single trade, you're blowing your account in one day of bad price action. Can't be happening. Yeah, but you didn't set yourself up to be a best loser there, right? Even on one contract, you had more risk than what was acceptable on that position. And I spent the entire time before entering that trade explaining why my entry price was 80, right? So we got to be able to take that information, adapt it, and apply it to your trading so that you're not just getting the rush of blood in your head to feel like you got to rush a decision. Because it truly is unacceptable. Okay, so far so good here on this position, right? So far so good. Another little flush lower, and we should be in great shape. Up about 800 bucks on this play here so far with one contract. So let's see if we can get a bit more here. So at this point, right, I'm up 2R on this trade. I will not let this go red. All right, so it doesn't mean I'm pushing my stop loss. My stop loss is more of a mental one than a physical one. But if price action stops behaving, right, I'm not going to hold on to this and attach mental baggage, right? Yeah, it's going to turn into a nice day here, Oz. No complaints. Come on. Can't seem to hold under that 40. That's what I'm watching here. It's kind of got like a little 10-point range right now, right? Between 50 and 40. So I'd like to see an aggressive flush away from that. Beautiful. Spoke it into existence. A bit more here. Who's in this with me here still? Anyone? All right, so there's $1,000. If this doesn't close under 40, I will get out. So you want to set your limit price, Bert, to be 980 in those circumstances, right? Okay, good close. Maybe I have a chance to pyramid here. So stop loss would be 944. Let's see. Well, let's see if we find support here. It needs to break down first. Okay, now 948. Okay, average price is now $954. So I'm risk-free on this trade, right? Hoping to try to get a bit more follow-throughs if I can get a bit more oomph. Come on, break down. So I'm out of this trade, guys, at 950. Try this again, potentially. That was mean. And so I got a typo here. That was 3 contracts. So try this again, potentially. Maybe a bit prematurely on that. Didn't make a lower low under that 929. Ah, unbelievable. Fuck me. So this is where I should have added, right, instead. Ah, brutal. So 4 for 5 here, team. I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything else. It's a pretty good day here, all things considered. So a little over $1,000 here on the day. I think I'm going to call it. Any questions here, team? Again, probably should have been more. So yeah, any questions here, team? Any questions? Where's the new trader? What do you mean by that? It's in the exact same spot the previous one was. Pinned message in the DTR debrief. I don't change things or make things complicated, team, right? It's always the same. Always the same. Any other questions here? Yeah, I've had a lot of people ask me about that. I'm going to try to do something about that this weekend. Should have a bit of time. Any other questions here, team? Final call here, team. Final call for questions. Final call, team. Final call. All right, well, if no further questions, I'm going to kill the stream here for the week. Same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, guys, have yourselves a fantastic weekend, and I will see you all on Monday. Peace.